Unthinkable testimony, when the truth turned the courtroom upside down. No one in Port Charles expected the day to unfold like this. The courtroom was unusually quiet, the kind of silence that pressed down on everyone's chest. Even the usual murmurs from the gallery had faded. Every eye was fixed on the witness stand, where Scout sat far too still for someone her age. Her feet didn't touch the floor, and her hands were folded tightly in her lap, as if holding herself together took all her strength. Drew watched her from across the room, his jaw clenched, his heart pounding. He had told himself she didn't need to be here. He had begged the judge to reconsider. But the truth had a way of demanding space, and today it had chosen Scout. The judge adjusted his glasses. "Scout Kane," he said gently, "do you understand why you're here today?" Scout nodded, slowly, deliberately. "Yes, Your Honor." That alone sent a ripple through the courtroom. Michael leaned forward in his seat. Alexis held her breath. Even Sonny, who had seen decades of chaos in Port Charles, felt something shift deep in his gut. This was not going to be an ordinary testimony. Scout's eyes drifted toward the gallery. She wasn't looking for comfort. She was looking for confirmation. Confirmation that what she remembered was real, that she wasn't imagining it, that the secret she carried wasn't hers alone anymore. "I didn't want to talk before," Scout said softly, "because I thought if I stayed quiet, everything would go back to normal." A collective exhale moved through the room. "But it didn't," she continued, "and someone could have been blamed for something they didn't do." Drew's heart sank. The prosecutor glanced at Alexis, then back at Scout. "Scout, can you tell us what you remember that night?" Scout swallowed hard. "I was supposed to be asleep, but I heard voices. They weren't yelling, they were whispering. That's how I knew something was wrong." The courtroom leaned in. "I looked through the stairs," Scout went on. "I saw someone I knew, someone who smiles a lot, someone everyone trusts." Gasps broke out instantly. The judge struck the gavel. "Order!" Drew stood halfway from his chair before realizing he was moving. Scout's words echoed in his head. "Someone everyone trusts." Michael's pulse raced. Willow's hands trembled. Port Charles had been built on secrets, but this one felt different. This one felt like it would tear something permanent apart. "Scout," the judge said calmly, "do you recognize that person in this courtroom today?" Scout's gaze shifted, slowly, painfully. She stopped. Her eyes landed on someone no one had considered. A sharp inhale sliced through the room. "No, I don't recognize them here." Confusion exploded. The prosecutor frowned. "Scout, you just said you knew this person." "I do," Scout said, her voice stronger now, "but they're not sitting here." The courtroom erupted. Drew's mind spun. If the person wasn't present, then where were they, and why hadn't they been called? Alexis felt a chill crawl up her spine. "Then where is this person now?" the prosecutor asked carefully. Scout hesitated, then delivered the twist no one saw coming. "They already left town." That single sentence changed everything. Phones buzzed. Reporters scribbled furiously. The judge slammed the gavel again, but the damage was done. Port Charles had just learned the truth wasn't locked inside this courtroom. It had escaped. Drew felt anger surge through him. Someone had known. Someone had helped this person disappear. Michael's eyes darkened as realization hit him like a punch. This wasn't just about what happened. It was a cover-up. Alexis stood abruptly. "Your Honor, this testimony suggests obstruction, possibly even coordination." Scout looked at her mother then, really looked at her. "There's more," Scout said. The courtroom froze again. I didn't just see them that night. I heard what they said after. They thought no one was watching. They said someone else would take the fall." Drew's face drained of color. Someone had been set up. The judge ordered a recess, but the truth was already spreading like wildfire. In the hallway, voices collided, accusations, denials, whispered fears. Drew pulled Scout into his arms, fighting the urge to ask too many questions. She had already done more than anyone could have asked of her. "You were brave," he whispered, "braver than all of us." Inside the courtroom, Alexis connected the dots. This wasn't a single act driven by emotion. This was calculated, planned. Someone had orchestrated the chaos and slipped away before the spotlight could turn on them. Michael joined her. "If Scout is right," he said quietly, "then the real danger isn't over." Across town, a lone figure packed a bag in a dimly lit room. A phone buzzed with breaking news alerts. "Courtroom bombshell. Witness reveals new truth." The figure smirked. Too late. When court resumed, the case had transformed. What started as a search for answers had become a hunt. The judge ordered a new investigation. Names previously cleared were now under scrutiny. Old alliances cracked. Long-held trust shattered. Scout's testimony didn't just reveal the truth, it exposed how fragile Port Charles really was. Drew knew one thing for certain. This story wasn't over. The truth had spoken, but the fallout was only beginning. If you think this revelation changes everything in Port Charles, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because the next twist is even more shocking.